Hi, Princess Adora here, and it's playtime again. Today, I have a brand new She-Ra figure that I'm going to be reviewing. This time, it is the 35th anniversary PowerCon exclusive. Now, this was part of the Masters of the Universe Origins line, but this one is a little different from the one you will find in stores, and I will show you why here in just a moment. So, let's get into it.
She-Ra, Princess of Power.
The land speeder has a snap-open space hatch and Star Wars action figures are...
But beneath that uniform, she is the Wonder Woman doll.
You can pit He-Man against Beast-Man playing for the power of Castle Grayskull.
My little pony, my little pony.
G.I. Joe, American hero.
You're going nowhere. I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of heat time.
We have a mailer box with some fantastic She-Ra art on the front and the back. Then inside, by the way, I have previously opened this, but I put it back together for the sake of this video, because that's the beauty of this packaging. Whoever designed it made it so that you could take her in and out of the box without destroying the packaging. The card art has some vintage style Princess of Power art and an awesome holographic sticker on here. Now, this is something that is very different from the one you'll find in retail. The one in stores will have the generic Origins box art on it, while this one pays homage more to the Princess of Power toy line. Then this part slides right out, and it becomes a trifold with some beautiful She-Ra art on it, and all of the characters have their toy designs, which I love. But that's just one side. The other side is a comic strip, just like the old toys had. And look, it even includes some fantastic fashions in there, which, if you're a hardcore She-Ra fan, you would recognize. Now let's move on to the figure herself. Now, between PowerCon exclusive and the one you'll find in stores, there are two main differences. The first being the box, which I showed you earlier. The second is the hair. The one you'll find in retail has molded plastic hair, while this one has beautiful rooted hair, which I'm a big fan of, and it's more of a callback to the original Princess of Power toy line. She came with her hair pulled back in a ponytail, and you can keep it like that if you want, but I took it out because I'm a girl, and of course the first thing I had to do was brush her hair. Here she is next to my original She-Ra doll. Her tiara looks almost exactly the same, but is slightly smaller. Just like the original, you can flip it upside down and turn it into a mask, which I don't know anybody that displays it like that, but hey, you can if you want to. You'll also notice all the parts meant to be metal are painted a bright yellow to represent the gold. The original doll used a darker metallic bronze to simulate metal. This is one of my biggest gripes with some of the Origins figures. The colors are too bright, which some people might prefer, but things like He-Man's bright yellow hair and evil Lynn's neon skin just don't look right to me. Everything looks very clean and the paint jobs lack depth. All of these neon colors are giving me flashbacks to the 90s toy aisles. Yes, the original toy line had a lot of color, but even the most colorful character had depth and had a rugged look to them that gave the toys life. I really wish they would go back to the deep, more rich and earthy colors that the original toy line and other Masters of the Universe toy lines had, when the colors of the figures matched the gorgeous artwork we saw on the boxes. Not only is her tiara smaller, but so is her head, which would explain why her tiara is smaller. And her face, I'm not sure how I feel about the face. It's much more of a cute baby face than what I'm expecting to see on She-Ra. The paint job, on the other hand, is very nice. Nothing's misaligned, unlike some figures I've seen.
Bitch, are you for real?
Even getting up close, you can see the paint job is great, down to the glitter in her makeup. But the head is probably one of the weakest things on the figure for me. The original face is just much more striking. Moving down to her cape, and Though I prefer the shiny iridescent look of the original cape, I'm actually digging the longer, more flowing fabric of this one. And just like the original, it's attached with some elastic. Just don't stretch it out like every child has done with their original She-Ra. Her forearms with the bracers are the same as the Origins version of Teela, but painted yellow. The boots, on the other hand, are a new sculpt altogether, and they are made to look similar to the design of the vintage figure. You can see the jewel in the middle is different. This one is painted on instead of being a clear rhinestone like on the original. Where the original was a fashion doll made for little girls so that they could dress and undress her, the Origin one doesn't accomplish that as easily. The belt is a solid plastic, and the only way to remove the belt and the skirt is to pop her apart at the waist. Easy enough, because this isn't made for little girls. This is made for adult collectors, so they're not going to lose all these little pieces. Here I had some fun and swapped some clothes with some of my vintage Princess of Power figures. So you can see she clearly still works well as a fashion doll. Though I can get the vintage clothes on her just fine, you can't get the Origin skirt or belt on the vintage figures. You can swap with some of the other ladies from the Origins line though. Now let's take a look at some of her accessories. Her shield is very much in the same style as the vintage one, except this one doesn't clip on like this one does, and it doesn't swivel like the originals. Instead, it has a peg that goes in her hand so she can hold it. To be fair, the original toy didn't have all these points of articulation, so this one doesn't need that swivel to compensate. Her sword is cool. It's almost like a combination of her golden toy sword and her Filmation sword. But this is really cool. This didn't come with the vintage doll at all. Is it an axe? Is it a comb? It's both. This side is for slaying horde soldiers, while this side is for combing those knots out of your hair after riding Swift One at high speeds. If this were a competition, of course the original will always be my favorite. So far with this Origins line, it's been hit or miss with me, but this exclusive She-Ra is definitely one of my favorites to come out of the line. It's really cool to have a She-Ra that is more posable. I just want to see improvements on the coloring and the face sculpts for these characters. The original had 6 points of articulation, this one has 16. And it's just really fun to pose her. Nothing's too loose or too stiff. It's just a very sturdy, well-made figure. And the best part is, She-Ra can properly sit on Swift One now. Overall, she's a hit with me. But let me know what you think. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Does it give you warm feelings of nostalgia? Or do those knees piss you off? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next playtime. And the best part is, oh my god, I'm a mess. Swift One's saddle's falling off. She-Ra's waist is falling off.